That's it, bro. That's the plot of the movie.
There we go.
These idiots trying to get in this house.
What a dumbass plot. Like, but what a classic ass movie.
Nah, I used to love this movie.
This movie is great. It still holds up. I don't. This is one of the movies I don't get tired of watching.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cinecism. I'm Eric.
It's your boy Dante, man, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Christmas classic, Home Alone.
Another childhood favorite of mine.
Of course.
This is like one of the, iconic Christmas movies.
And they put Macaulay Culkin on the map.
On the what?
On the map.
Oh.
I was hoping you didn't. Nigga say what now? This is one of the movies that I'm not even going to lie to you. I watch a couple of times a year. It don't even have to be Christmas time for me. Yes.
The movie is basically about this big family who is going on a trip to Paris. And somehow or another, which we're going to explain,
right,
they end up leaving one of their younger children at home by itself because, something happened the night prior where he got in trouble. He ended up sleeping somewhere else. Then the bad winter storm that came through kind of messed with the power. So everybody overslept and was frantic the next morning to get out of the house. And they ended up mistakenly leaving Kevin at home, played by Macaulay Culkin. A couple of robbers in the local area that plot to burglarize their home while Kevin is there alone. He ends up setting a bunch of traps for these robbers. And
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She was like a cartoon.
Oh, 1000%. I think they said when I looked into like the making of this movie that some of the stunts were inspired by cartoons and shit like that. I mean, I could easily see that.
Clearly. So Macaulay Culkin plays the main character, of course, Kevin. Who wrote him like this? Why would they do this? They do not make him a likable character at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, no.
He's a much more of a jerk than what I remember. I really used to think he was a cool kid when I was a kid. Sucks. Well, he's a little piece of shit, kind of, actually.
Right. Oh, no, kind of.
The way he talks to his parents.
Yeah, oh my God.
Right.
I am upstairs, dummy.
Like, see, this is why your family hates you.
Right. His family was ass, too.
Yeah, they really were.
I was like, damn, everybody suck in this house.
He's just a typical kid that comes from a upper class family,
yeah,
spoiled. Yeah, entitled. He's clever. He's smart, kind of, I guess. He was overwhelmed with the thought of like packing his suitcase.
Right.
But when it came to setting up all these elaborate traps, he was like a mastermind.
Right.
Like, what?
Right.
All right. Just him just being a kid alone and just wilding out and doing weird shit. It's things that I probably would have done if I was a kid and nobody was there to supervise or chaperone me too.
And you had a house of that caliber.
Yeah,
like,
man. That was a big ass house.
In that house, right. Obviously, at the beginning of the movie, Kevin and his family, they beefing. He kind of learns to appreciate them once they left because he turned, the moment they leave, he hype as hell. He having all the fun that you would probably have. But then slowly as the movie goes on, he starts to miss his family, and he starts to kind of regret the way he was talking to them before they left and all that type of stuff. So I think it's good that they at least showed that element because they could have very well just kept this as him wilding out throughout the whole movie. But the movie got a lot of heart. His mom in this movie is great. They was the main two beefing anyway. She was the only one of his family members that tried to fly back, catch an early flight to get back because it's the holidays, so it's hard to book.
She made that man sleep in the attic.
In the attic.
And like, I can't say he didn't deserve it.
Right. He was wilding, man.
Man, let's talk about these dumbass robbers, man.
Harry Marv.
First of all, why were these fools so hell-bent on this damn
That's what, like, this house, because it's a suburb, you gotta imagine. So all of the houses look like the house that they wanted. So I didn't know what in particular stood out about this house. I guess the fact that Kevin lived there and they need to make a movie.
Right. I do have to praise them for committing to this role of these dumbass robbers, man. I thought they worked really well together, and they were like really, I felt they really were committed. And especially somebody of Joe Pesci's caliber. I was
just about to say.
For him to be in a goofy ass movie like this, I really appreciated it.
Joe Pesci, man. Goodfellas.
He had a good time in it too.
Yeah, it's dope to see him in something like this because this is an iconic role for him. Like when you think of the movies that he's in, this is up there with a Goodfellas. I mean, of course, he plays a completely different character. Yeah. But this is day and night from who he is in those movies.
Just to hear him not like using profanity in this movie was something. Right. It's like I just felt like he wanted to curse so bad at some points in this movie.
I'm sure he did.
And dude that played Marv, I wish I could remember his name.
He is so
He was funny. Like
Joe Pesci's character is the more serious of the two robbers. Marv is more of a goofball. and they're called collectively the wet bandits because every time they leave a crime scene, they leave the faucets on.
Why did they even add that element?
That's ridiculous, bro. Like, why would you ever have any calling card as a thief? Like, just leave that bitch, bro. You ain't gotta put no trace, because that immediately starts putting people on your trail.
Right.
Like, don't have no calling card, dude. It's like, dude, why you do that? Like, every time.
He said, it's sick.
Right? He was like,
you're sick.
Yeah, it's a sick thing to do.
A big takeaway for me for this movie, I always like watching movies that took place prior to, like, you know, the 9/11 attacks. It's just so weird seeing airports and the lack of security back then.
Complete lack of it.
It's interesting to see the contrast and how security is handled now in those types of facilities.
Yeah, it was none. You could just go in there. You didn't have a ticket and you wanted to see somebody off on a flight. Like, now, of course, you got to, like, hug them in the lobby, but you could go to their gate.
For real?
Yeah, back in the day.
Wow.
I think you could used to do that. That's crazy, man.
That is crazy.
Yeah, to even think about it. The music for this movie is iconic.
Yeah,
like, the
very 90s.
And that intro, man, with the house.
Yeah.
It's just a very, like, the moment this movie comes on, it's just got a very classic, iconic feel. That music, to me, sound like a nigga breaking in your house. Like, like, what the fuck? Like, hey, yo, get out of here. I mean, we got the iconic scenes. Kevin with the shit doing this.
Yeah, the after shit.
I think that was like the cover at one point of this movie.
Yeah, it was a thing. And then I remember rewatching this and I was like, why was this a thing?
Right.
But you know, I'll take it.
Right.
I thought that was so funny when I was a kid. Gosh,
Me too.
I was an
He
idiot.
said when I was a kid, nigga ain't amused these days. He looked at it and was like, huh.
You know, another thing is the violence as well. You know, this movie reminded me of like Tom and Jerry or something. The way they was getting like destroyed by these objects. They should have been dead a couple of times in this movie.
And it's concerning when you get older, the fact that this kid came up with all these, like, but I guess it makes sense if you was watching a lot of cartoons and shit. It's like, dude, you really hurting these men. Like, you really hurting these dudes.
I mean, they were at some point trying to presumably kill him, right?
Yeah, well,
because they didn't care about robbing the house no more after a certain point.
Yeah.
Let's get the kids. If somebody did that to my head, man, I'd probably be ready to kill him too.
Yeah. You know, as a kid watching this movie, I was so hyped to think, like, man, if somebody ever robbed my house, I could do something. Bro, you would be instantly dead. Like,
yeah, don't try this at home, kid. You'll die.
Right.
100%. Yeah. I was going to say something. I ain't trying to get too deep because this movie just ain't deep enough.
What you about to say?
It's about the old man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't mention the old man.
This is older man in this movie that all the kids, and including Kevin, perceive to be this creepy old murderous man that lives alone in his house. It really reminded me of my childhood, where all the kids believed it was some like super suspicious shit going on in like one particular house in the neighborhood, especially if it's somebody that you don't really know or see that often. Because I remember being in the neighborhood and hearing rumors about you know, people that seem creepy or something.
All the time.
And then seeing him at the end, like, embracing his family. I thought that was a really touching moment for me. For some reason, I don't remember it liking that moment as much as a child as I do now. I mean, I guess as an adult, you have just a different...
You could appreciate it more.
Different perspective on life. So I thought that was a really heartwarming thing.
Yeah, because you find out he's kind of a recluse, but not because by choice. He like estranged from his family and he done had a falling out with his son. And yeah, it's very touching. At the end, he actually get to see his son, his granddaughter, and all of that. You know,
I really enjoyed this movie, especially watching it again after having not seen it for so long. Classic 90s movie. I really enjoyed the characters in here. I wanted to be Macaulay Culkin when I was a kid. Everything I saw him in, I thought he was so cool. It was just as exciting and enjoyable as it was to me when I was a child. So I'm going to give Home Alone 1 I'm gonna give it an 8, man. I really still enjoy this movie.
It's got a classic feel to it, classic music, classic cast. The moments is one of them quotable movies that you just really remember. I'm gonna give a Home Alone a 10 out of 10.
Oh, nigga.
Yeah, I mean, this Home Alone, man. Like, this is a classic movie for me.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to our review of the timeless classic Home Alone. Hope y'all enjoyed that. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have anything that you want like for us to review, whether it be a TV show or movie or even the trailer, drop a comment below.
And if you guys have seen the Christmas classic Home Alone, tell me what you think. What do you think about it? Are y'all more impartial to Home Alone 1 or 2? I'm always curious about that because they got similar premises, but it's definitely moments that separate the two.
I was gonna ask you about Home Alone 4 and 5.
Oh my fuck.
Yeah.
If y'all seen Home Alone 4 and 5.
Even the covers look a fool.
Dog, I've seen Home Alone 4. I wouldn't even venture to Home Alone 5. I actually like Home Alone 3. The one with the other kid?
I was a little put off by, and not being Macaulay Culkin, but I mean, I'm sure he was a teenager by then, so that would look ridiculous.
He might have been a man. Bro.
I don't know, this was like 98.
Home Alone. Come home, mommy, mom. Like, nigga, what?
Get a job.
Right, get your grown ass the fuck. We appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, thank y'all for tuning in.
All right, peace.